In this video we're going to talk about the script, the life script that you have been given, and why are we going to do this? Well, it's simply because some Source players might not have been dealt the absolute best scripts, and they might have some questions. They might wonder, why didn't I get to experience this, but they did? Stuff like that. So I'm just going to lay it out there, and you have something to reflect on if you have some troubles with the script that you have been dealt. Now, to explain this in a very simple way, I want you to imagine a mountain, like a pyramid, a circular mountain that is rugged on all sides. It has completely different terrain on every side of the mountain. And now I want you to imagine we take a snowball, and we place the snowball on one side of the mountain, and we let it roll down. Now, of course, this snowball is going to get a completely unique experience. The terrain is rugged. Sometimes the ball will roll fast, sometimes it will jump, sometimes maybe it will steer the other direction a little bit, and so on. And you can now imagine that we are placing another snowball on a different place of this mountain. Rolling it down, it's going to get a different experience. Now take 10 million snowballs and place them all on different places, and they will all get different experiences. This is what we as a source are experiencing. Each and every source player will get different scripts. I want you to remember that every day is different. You can visualize the stars in the sky that are spinning around in a big circle around us, like a clock, creating different energies, vibrations, every single day, every minute. It's always different. If you were born 30 years ago and your other source player friend was born 31 years ago, you will have totally different experiences of this now day, because you both are different. You have different avatars, different interests, different strengths, and you have come to this point in the game where you have developed these strengths, gotten to know these different unique traits of yourselves, and because of these differences, you will have different experiences. Now also consider that some people might have grown up in a tiny little city. Some might have grown up in a huge one. You might wonder, why do some source players have to move out of the country maybe, or to a totally different place within the country for them to truly break out of their script? Well, that could be, for example, if they grew up in a very small town where they knew everyone. You can probably understand that that is going to be a tricky experience when everyone is talking, everyone knows you, you know everyone, and everyone knows everything about everyone. That is just a certain type of matrix to have to handle as you are waking up. If this is the case, you would definitely probably benefit from moving. You probably wouldn't ever really truly benefit from moving back even. Now, if you have grown up in a huge city where you can walk outside without ever meeting anyone that you know, or maybe even rarely meeting anyone, then you might not really have to move. It could still benefit you. It's going to be challenging in ways you can't foresee to move out of the country. Maybe especially if it is to a country where you don't speak their language, and you don't know anyone, I want you to recognize what you think about the script you have been dealt. I want you to recognize if you're being a little negative about it. You might have better reasons than me to be negative about your script. Or not. You need to be careful with that. You can create a mess for yourself, just as easily as I can create a mess for myself. Of course, I've gotten beyond the point to where I easily can do things like that, but at some point I could. I really could. But I did recognize that I had to be careful, because what I choose to believe, what I choose to think, what I choose to energize, really becomes my experience. And yeah, all scripts are different. You might have had things in your script that maybe really wasn't that nice, honestly. Would be nice if you didn't have it there. But at the same time, you're going to gain strengths, potentially, that I just never had the possibility of gaining. Even if I reflected on it today, I don't even know about things like that, maybe. It would be challenging for me, maybe, to get the type of powers that you can get. My script have been super nice, really, can't complain. And because of that, I was suddenly 20 years old and I didn't know anything. I'm not going to talk too much about myself now, but I had so few challenges in my life that it kinda didn't benefit me, in a sense. But at the same time it kinda did. It set me up for a different type of mindset when I finally started to find the truth. I'm just saying, be careful. Everything might be good. It might all be for the best. It really might. Even those things. Absolutely. That is true. That is true, but you need to see it for yourself. You need to agree. And of course you don't have to. But remember that what you choose to believe, what you choose to think, becomes true. And you might have woken up to many different situations in your life. Just remember what it's like when you really change your perspective, when you just totally suddenly see it differently. It really might be the same when it comes to your script. It might be the same with all sorts of trauma, mindsets. Just stay aware. Now, if you have benefited from this video, kindly consider becoming a supporter. And I want to say a big thank you to all supporters. Abundance, health and prosperity to you all. Thank you so much.